Hello and welcome to another DualShockers discussion. I am your host, Michael Ruiz. I'm the news editor there. With me, once again, is the beautiful Mario Rivera. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. I'm a huge Tony Hawk fan, and that's why I'm here.
Well, let me tell you, here I am. I'm growing older all the time
Oh,
because I've been waiting for this goddamn game to finally release. Holy shit, Mario! Here we go. We got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. It's a remaster. It was a
I'm getting
it was
nostalgic and flashbacks because I could have swore we dealt with this in the last generation at the end of it too. But
we did. Yes, we did. Yesterday, which this will be, I assume this will be live tomorrow on May 14th. So on May 12th, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster
yeah,
by Activision and Vicarious Visions. They announced it on Jeff Keighley's Summer Blockbuster Marathon Palooza.
Summerfest Lala,
Yeah, Summerfest, Lollapalooza,
Taste
both
of Chicago.
Midwest, Taste of Chicago. Yeah, Summer Game Fest. That's what it's actually called.
That's what
I
it's
actually
called.
didn't. I couldn't remember what it was called. Summer Game, but Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. It was announced there. It's kind of like one of the more like actual announcements from
Yeah,
that specifically, right? Because the
yeah, for
last
sure.
one was Inside Xbox, which if you want to check out that video, we did a discussion about that last week. Right? That was last week.
Yeah, that was last
going.
week. Time is a flat circle, but that was last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. So we did that last week. You can check out that video on our YouTube. I guess it's at youtube.com/DualShockers.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
youtube.com/DualShockers. That's what we
Great.
got.
Wonderful. Yeah, that was like kind of the first thing that kicked off the Summer Game Fest, I guess. And then this is this is the like first announcement that was made actually on the Summer Game Fest, like with Jeff Keighley and stuff like that. And they had an interview too with Jen O'Neill from Vicarious Visions and also the Birdman Tony Hawk.
That's right.
So like all of our discussion videos, let's just talk about what our stories are with this series in particular. I know I'll go last because I'll probably go a little long because this is a very very important video game series for me.
For sure.
Mario, what's your relationship with this series, Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
My relationship with Tony Hawk Pro Skater actually goes back to N64, I believe is when I first played it, which I've been told is not the correct version. You should just play the PlayStation version, but I digress.
I'm with you. I was a Nintendo kid, so I had
Yeah.
the first one for N64, and number 2 was on N64. I had as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to remember if I played 2 on the Dreamcast, which
Maybe.
again, that's a weird. I'm just jumping over all of the like trash consoles, but sorry. Yes, I did call the 64 trash.
It is.
But basically, with Tony Hawk from the first go, I mean, I was very much in that culture of watching Jackass and Viola Bam and all that. So this was definitely a big part of my early childhood, was playing the first Tony Hawk game, trying to collect skate, trying to get, the secret tape in all the levels, trying to match out the scores within 2 minutes. Like the music, the soundtrack, even though I was like maybe 6 when this came out, it's still like is infused inside my soul. So every time I hear Goldfinger Superman, like it's stuck into me. And in the same way that like the Offsprings is always associated with me with like Crazy Taxi, it's the same deal. Like I can't get the music out of my head when I think about specifically this game. Moving on, obviously to 2, I'm playing as Spider-Man of all things, which was crazy. That was also a lot of fun. Me, I mean, I played 3 and I played 4. 4 not to me is like my favorite out of like it's just the one that's just like sort of just there. But once you get to Thug and like Thug 2 specifically, I mean, you're maxing out like billion combos, like billion point combos, like with the reverb, and then obviously the fact that you can connect it to literally every single subset of like bouncing off walls, and it's just been a game that's been part of my life for so long, especially in that era of growing up and watching Jackass and stuff like that. So that's my short version of I love Tony Hawk games and I will die for Tony Hawk games.
Yes. Very good. Tony Hawk is a very good series. For me, uh, I grew up skateboarding, so like that was one of the things I did, like more so than video games, less so than music. Like growing up, the tiers were playing drums and creating music, skateboarding, video games.
Yeah.
In fact, video games were like the thing that I do at night when I stop skating or I stop playing drums. It was just to chill out and play video games. And
Yeah.
Tony Hawk was like definitely one of those games. Skate was also one of those games. Guitar Hero, Rock Band, Galaga, Doom. All my favorite games are kind of like the ones that kind of were the thing that really like got me out of like the real world for a second and then go into go into this virtual a lot of the reason why most people play video games trying to just escape everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, Tony Hawk has just been kind of just in my life since the first one came out on N64. So I had that one. I got him. I didn't play Tony Hawk 4, and I don't know why. That's like the one that's just missing in my, like I played all of them after that as well. So 4 is like the one that is just missing. But Tony Hawk 3 is like one of my favorite video games of all time.
Tony Hawk 3 is definitely one of my favorite. That's the first like I think PS2 version of a game that I think I play, because there is a PS1 version. I have it on my hacked PS1 console, and it's not good. But the PS3 version or the PS2 version, especially because it had and again I influenced music with the series, and CKY's 99 Bitter Things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then I'm just like, you play as Dark Maul. No, 100%. So yeah. So
but yeah. So I mean, I played the first one a whole lot. I loved it. I played the second one a whole lot on N64 also, and I loved it. I gave that game to a friend for some goddamn reason, and then at one point, I ended up getting Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2X for the Xbox, which had both of the games on there on Xbox, which was awesome. That was a good version of that game. Which also, funny thing, this isn't the first time that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 was packed in the same goddamn package. But here we are. Yep. I think like the third time ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got that, and then Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 kind of solidified my love for the series. I think that one, to me, is like a perfect game. I haven't played it in a very long time, so I don't know how it feels right now, but how I remember it feeling, and every level, introducing the revert, the manuals, and all the ground tricks and stuff like that. To me, that is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That is how it's supposed to feel, and that is like the bare minimum I think a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game should have, which is nice to see once we get into the actual breakdown of this new one. But then, I skipped 4 for some reason. My friends had 4, though, and I did play it, and I beat it because those games weren't...
Yeah, 4 was very much like a AC/DC kind of like Tony Hawk game.
Well, it had AC/DC in it.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like that. Like again, I always infuse the music from the soundtrack, and like I remember like AC/DC was like heavily influenced in this one, and I don't know. For some reason, it just still... That's the only thing that I got from it. It didn't leave a mark in any other way.
I will say that it's probably like the way that most people feel how a Tony Hawk game feels. I think a lot of people say it's 4 because 4 introduced like a whole... I forgot exactly what it introduces as well, but it kind of opens up the world. It's not necessarily just like 2 minutes, here you go. You're actually like doing missions that are like in an open world, like it's in stages and whatever.
And I think 4 exists so that way Thug can run, you know, because in a lot of ways Thug had that, where at the very beginning of that game you're in your neighborhood and you can explore the neighborhood, but then it expands later to other parks. Yeah. There's one park specifically that's like a real park in that game that I'm like, oh cool, see how they've, you know, back then when recreating in PS2 era, how they could put it all together. I'm very curious how like they could actually take like a real location for now, so I'm excited for that. But yeah. But yeah.
Fun fact. A lot of these places are real places.
That's right.
From the first and second games.
Yes, that is true.
They're like a mashup of a bunch of skate spots sometimes. But yeah, and like you said, Thug, like I love that one, mostly because like I like the idea of getting sponsored and stuff like that, especially someone who was like, oh yeah, I would like to be a pro skater one day, skateboard, blah blah blah. Couldn't even kickflip a 4-stair. But anyway, like I really love those games. Thug 2 is the one that I was probably the best at.
Yeah.
Like I was able, like that was where I was actually like I don't say that I'm really good at video games ever. I'm not. I'm pretty terrible at them.
Yeah.
I like playing them though, but there are 2 series that I think I am pretty decent in, and it's like Rock Band Guitar Hero and then Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I think I'm a very, very good Tony Hawk Pro Skater player, and that game in particular, I bet a friend one time that I could beat the game in sick mode in less than 45 minutes, and I did it.
That's awesome.
Because I learned how to combo each of the goals in each level, so I just only had to do them in a run or two each time.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're right. I think I learned how to do that too.
Because it's like I gotta beat this game as fast as possible, like cleanly. And so you would just try to do everything in one combo, and you do all of the goals in a combo.
Yeah.
And I did it, and he was like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, Thug was one of those games that I just zone out and just play for hours. So
I would say Thug 2 isn't even like the best, isn't even close to the best one. I think it's kind of weaker. But
I think that it has the best in my opinion, it has the best skateboarding in terms of just the way that you can combine all the combos. Because to me, at that point, it was like the pinnacle in terms of reverb and wall plants.
I really, really like the gameplay, which is the next one. I really like the gameplay of American Wasteland a lot. I remember liking that one a lot. That was the first one that came to Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yeah,
I believe.
No, it was because it was almost launch.
Close to launch, yeah.
Yeah, it was almost launch. I'm trying to remember. I played that, but I think I played it on base Xbox.
It had it had a lot of cover songs from like big artists. So you had, I know My Chemical Romance did a cover of a Misfits song.
Yeah.
Astro
Zombies.
Astro Zombies, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody did a cover of Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies, which that song is in the first game.
Green Day is like a big part of that album, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Did they do American Wasteland? I don't know. I have to look that up. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I love that game. Project 8 I loved a lot. I was in that was another one that I was really good at too, and I was in like the top 100 for highest score and on the leaderboard. I just love those games. Like they're super. It's not just like nostalgia. Like I just genuinely think those games are great, and they're great for like high score chasing and stuff like that. Again, they were a big part of like growing up and becoming the person that I am. Like which might say a lot about me. But
hold on, I gotta find your Twitter. No, I was gonna surprise you and just put all your photos up.
Yeah, I put yesterday when they said celebrating, the reveal, here's a bunch of old pictures of me skateboarding. And I love it. Like I wish I never like went away from skating. I really did enjoy it. I think it's a great way to like relax. Surprisingly, if you're not like crazy into it, I think it's like a great way to relax and like just riding around, and even just like if you're on like ramps or something like that. Like I love just going up and down ramps. It wasn't really like doing anything fancy or anything, just having a good time and chilling. I thought it was just I kind of missed that, and so seeing like all these skateboard games coming out, where you have this one, you got Session, Skater XL, seeing all those games like come out is like a really cool thing for me personally. But I really love this series though, for sure.
No, for sure.
So let's go into what they actually revealed at this thing, because I think it looks really good overall. Like from what I've seen, there's some things in terms of like animation I'm kind of weird on.
Yeah.
But I think generally I think it looks good, and from what I gathered from the interview that they had, I think it looks I'm confident that they're going to try this time. They're gonna try.
They're gonna try this time. They're kind of touch and miss. So we also didn't say that.
Let's talk about this. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 was a trash heap. It was terrible.
That was trash fire.
It was god awful. And then before that, it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD, which, a lot of people have problems with. I thought for the time it was fine. Like, you got these levels in HD. There's definitely problems with it, but I think it was still playable.
Yeah.
It was more like the DLC, the way they went about DLC, like having the revert be a DLC pack and like that stuff. Like, that's kind of, especially now, that is very like not cool. Like, that's very unacceptable. Kind of. Even then, then it was unacceptable. It doesn't really change. But if that had happened now, like, they would have gotten so much more. On that. But yeah, from what I saw, like, we saw the trailer. Tony Hawk revealed it himself first. Like,
can we talk about that? Can we talk about that for a second? Go ahead.
Yeah. So there was a text going around I think somebody on our Discord channel showed, like, hey, or maybe I showed it because I saw this.
You.
I saw. Yeah. It was me who showed it. I saw on Twitter somebody was like, "Oh, Tony Hawk's texting people." I'm like, "What is that? What?"
Yeah. So can I explain? Can I explain what that is? So celebrities, or by the way, I put a photo of you in the stream of you in your in all your glory right now, so full screen. Cool. Basically, so there's this. I think it's from the people that create Twitter. I think it's from Jack Dorsey. But basically, he's created a service that allows celebrities, so that way you can text your fans. And
Community, right?
Yeah, I think it's called Community, and like Stephen Amell has it. Ashton Kutcher was the first thing. I think Ashton Kutcher's developing it, but Ashton Kutcher was the first person that I saw it. I actually accepted it, and he texted me. But like, of course, he just texts me stuff of things he's doing. So, but he's never responded to me back. By the way, Ashton, still waiting for a response. But yeah, so that's what that is, and I guess Tony Hawk has that too. And then whatever happened to you, then go ahead and explain the rest.
Yeah, so I saw on Twitter that somebody posted about it and that they got this text. I'm like, wait a second. I signed up for this like community thing like a year ago. I think it was it was a giveaway for a skate deck. I'm like, oh, I want a skate deck. Because I didn't want to pay for one because I don't have money to just spend on a skateboard deck. I don't even know if I'll be able to use it, is what I'm saying. And so I didn't want to spend money on it. And I'm like, oh, I could use a skate deck. That'd be awesome. Maybe it'll get me back into skating a little bit. And then I would just have to buy trucks, wheels, all that other garbage. So yeah, I remembered that. I'm like, did I get the text? And then, but I didn't have my phone with me. I had it in the other room, charging in the living room. And I was in this room, actually, this heap of a room. And and then I got the text message. I'm like, oh, this is that, because when you see something online, you never know, like, it might be fake or something. But it was like one of those moments where I saw it on my phone. I'm like, oh my god, this is actually real. Like, this is totally happening right now. Because before that, we were like, what is this reveal going to be? And we all thought, like, this was like the last thing on my mind, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, it's probably some PlayStation thing, some Xbox thing, I don't know, some garbage or whatever. And I see I'm like, guys, what's happening right now? There's Tony Hawk game being revealed right now. And then I think a couple minutes later, or maybe like 15 minutes before the stream starts, Tony Hawk's like, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. And then just puts the release date and the key art for the game. Like, oh my god, this guy. God. And then they actually had the reveal on Twitch on Jeff Keighley's Game Awards channel. So we had the trailer there, and from what I saw personally, I was pleased. Like, maybe it was like in the moment, I'm like, oh my god, there's a Tony Hawk game coming out. It's by Vicarious Visions, who has been known to do really good reboots of series. Like, they did the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. They did the Crash Bandicoot racing game that I don't really care about, that no one cares about because it's bad. The game quality, though, is reminiscent of the old one. I just never liked the game, so I just think it's bad. Fair enough. And then there was the Spyro. They did the Spyro
1
too.
That's right.
And I love Spyro, and those were very good. Those were very good remakes of them. So seeing that it was them doing it kind of gave me a little bit more hope because they've been making these really good recreations of these old properties that people love.
Yeah.
So seeing them attached to a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, like, let's go. Also, I think Vicarious Visions also did the GBA games back then. Those games rock. So like, I'm just all in from the trailer. What were your thoughts when you saw the trailer?
Yeah, no, I mean the fact that it was funny because I made the obvious joke, like I said, like, you know, I thought I just played this like not that long ago. But the moment
2012.
I know it's 2012, and I bought it on PC, by the way, because you can't find it anywhere. It's delisted, but if you go to Amazon and you type in Tony Hawk HD remake or whatever, you can still buy a code for like $10. So I was able to play it not that long ago, and it ran fine. It looked like I had the reverb version.
I would hope it ran fine.
Yeah, I know, because it was only a couple of years ago. But you know, I was having problems with the sticks, and it just didn't feel right. That's the other problem. That's the problem with that one. With this one, I am heavily optimistic because you're right. I actually did play the Spyro game. I did play the Crash Bandicoot remaster remake, and they run very well. They look gorgeous. The 4K, the 4K is real on those games. So there's one shot in the trailer when you see the guy like blast over the pipe and then basically it just says in stunning 4K, I was like, please God, please, I'm so excited because everything that they are presenting to me in terms of the world of which you're skating looks fantastic. When you get closer up look to the character or to the people, it's a little wonky, but you know, it's
cartoonish.
It's like bleeding the line between like realism and cartoonish, which that's fine. Like in my mind, it always felt like Tony Hawk was real, even though it's very, very silly and off the wall, especially when you get like Officer Dick. But in terms of like the actual what they presented is like, yeah, I want to see these classic places in a higher resolution. I want to do the 2-minute skirmishes of each level. I'm excited for the fact that it's going to be a combination of 1 and 2. You're going to have obviously all of the challenges from those games and some new ones. What I've always hoped for, and I'm not going to say that this is going to be the one that does it. I always wanted a perfect Tony Hawk online experience of just hanging out with the boys and playing a skateboard game. And I have never had that. No, we're not. We don't bring that up in here. This ain't no EA shit. I should have a like a beep button, but I don't. But basically, in terms of what they showed, I'm highly optimistic and I'm really excited. It's only $40, which is nice. What do you have a beep sound on your phone?
Oh, it's not working.
No, I can't hear you at all. Jesus.
Sorry.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for every time I curse. Just a giant siren sound. What is this show?
They gave us the keys to this now.
They gave us they should have never gave us no money. That's what's up.
All right.
That is what's up.
I'll stop.
But you understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. So I'm optimistic for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. Like, I thought the look was fine, and I thought the look of the skaters was fine. I mean, it looks cartoony and stuff like that a bit, which again is fine. It's less about the look. Like, it's cool that it's in 4K. I like that it runs at 60 frames per second. I don't think we ever got a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game that ran at 60 frames per second, so that's great. That's fair. But yeah, visually, I think it looks great. It's to me, it's all about the feel, and if it feels good, and I am happy. The one thing I will say is that, like, in the HD remake, and I'm not sure about 5 because I really had a very limited time with 5. My friend got it and he brought it over, and I'm like, I'm never gonna play this. I'm gonna forget this ever even happened.
It was one of the few games that GameStop gave me for free when I worked at GameStop. I was like, I want Tony Hawk 5 real badly. Great.
Yeah. And
I want to play as Lil Wayne.
Yeah, or a Ninja Turtle. Which that's a good secret.
That's in there? I didn't know that.
I'm almost positive Ninja Turtle.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up later.
But yeah, like, there's this thing that the HD version did where if you land, it does like a weird, like your dude kind of carves a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like you could kind of see that in this one. I I mean, if it's just for looks, it's just for looks. It's fine. If it doesn't affect gameplay and it still feels great, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are. It's just some of the animations. I just hope that it doesn't like affect it and it still feels like what I remember Tony Hawk Pro Skaters 1, 2, and 3 and 4, I guess, because of what they added in here. So let's kind of just go through that as well, because there's some. It's not necessarily just recreations of 1 and 2, because I think if you went to go play 1 and 2 now, especially like for me, I think the revert is one of the most important things in a Tony Hawk game now. I think at the very least you need to have a revert. If you don't have that, then it's not really like a Tony Hawk game anymore to me. Like I like, because I am so used to it now at this point. From Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 until even if you've only played like really the old ones, right? We'll say the old ones are up till Thug 2, we'll say. Even if you played up till Project that, 8. I love Project 8 and American Wasteland. But let's say you only played up until Thug 2, which I feel like a lot of people did, because I think American Wasteland didn't get great reviews, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
And Project 8 was a very different thing.
It was definitely leaning towards more realism versus everything they've came before that.
Yeah, it was definitely a different take. And I still liked it. I really liked the slow motion flip thing. I thought that was interesting.
It was cool at the time for sure.
It's easy to rack up high scores because of it. But awesome. But yeah, if you've only played up until 2, I feel like the revert is so integral to building combos, and if you can't do that, I feel like instinctually you'll just try to go for a trigger and go for a revert, and you just won't do it. Like that, that would just feel wrong almost, even though it's right, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it's right and it's what 1 and 2 are, I think you need, like, I think there are just some moves you just need to have, and the revert is one of those. I'm
happy that it's
which they added.
Yeah. They said this is a 1 and 2 remake, but we're just gonna take mechanics from 3 because it's essential. It's an essential move now in the game series.
Yeah, that and the wall plant also they added on there, which again, very, very important. I don't remember which game the wall plant was on. I think it was Underground, but I might be wrong, because I thought you could like wall plant and then like it would have like a sticker, like it would stick something.
Yeah,
like some sort of like sticker that you had.
I think it's that is it, because I remember there were like challenges that you like stick people or something like that, or
again I can't remember exactly, but that was really important when you'd hit a wall, like you're grinding, like let's say you're grinding in a quarter pipe, there's a quarter pipe against the wall, you could jump, do the wall thing, whatever I just called it, wall plant, and then go back into the combo the other way.
Yeah.
And so it's again like, if you've played those games, like let's say Underground and up, like that's a very important feature and something that's kind of integral to building combos yet again. So they added those to the game, just because of quality of life kind of stuff. It will have all the original levels from 1 and 2.
Yes.
Right. So I am still unsure if that means secret levels from 2. I assume they do, but I do not know. So I don't know if like Skate Heaven and Chopper Drop are going to be in it.
That would be really great. I really hope so.
I would assume so.
My other thing is, obviously we're not going to potentially not get any special guest characters. Like we're not going to get Wolverine and
so that's the thing. I think there could be, because there's a pre-order bonus is a is the Powell. Right? If you're like skateboarding, if you're into skateboarding, and especially like retro kind of stuff, or just skateboarding in general, really, you've probably seen it, is like the Powell Peralta logo. They have the skeleton called the Ripper.
Yeah.
And that's part of the digital deluxe. It's not a pre-order bonus. I'm sorry. It's part of the digital deluxe pack.
Gotcha.
As another extra characters. So maybe I don't know if they'll have unlockable characters. Man, if you don't have Officer Dick in this
you have
as
to
an
have Officer
unlockable
Dick.
character,
You have to have Officer Dick, and he has to be Paul Blart.
You don't have to. You don't necessarily have to have what was her name? Private Carrera or something like that. I don't know.
Was it Tia Carrera? Was it?
No, it was definitely like Private Carrera or something like that. I don't remember exactly how to get her. And I feel like you should still have it because it's part of 1. Those were the two unlockable characters from 1. Was Officer Dick and her.
Yeah, Private Carrera. You're right.
Yeah, and if you don't have those, like, I don't know, man. At least Officer Dick.
Yeah, Officer Dick is like a mainstay. You can't have Tony Hawk without Officer Dick.
Yeah, but it did say it will have all the original skaters from.
Those
so
two
all
games.
the ones from 1 are also from 2, and then they added some more in 2. So they'll have all those characters from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Was it 3 and on? That's when they had Bam Margera.
Yeah, 3 is when they had Bam Margera.
Yeah.
I forgot who else they added, but they added some other people too.
You'll probably have his son be a character because his son's been in the games lately.
Yeah.
Riley Hawk.
Possibly.
I mean,
he's also really freaking good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen his.
I actually haven't seen Riley Hawk.
He's a street skater. He's not a vert skater like his father, but he is freaking crazy. He's super good. Right. But yeah, they'll have all the original pro skaters, all the original levels, same special tricks you remember them having, and all the multiplayer modes you remember them having, which they didn't name any specifically, but the ones that they had back in the day when I listed them
Horse, baby. I want to play some horse.
Graffiti, man. It's all about graffiti. Graffiti, trick attack, horse, tag, and free skate.
Yeah.
Those were all available by Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 as multiplayer modes. But they also put that they'll have original online multiplayer modes.
Okay.
So
Battle Royale with skateboards, baby.
Yeah, Battle Royale with skateboards. So they're probably going to have some original stuff too. Which also they're going to have online on here.
Yeah.
They have Create a Park where you could share your parks online, which I believe was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5.
Yeah. They'll
have Create a Skater back. Am I missing anything? Oh, of course, the music, Badoy. It sounds like they're not going to have all of the music from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. They did list a few artists in the trailer.
Yeah, they did.
Let me just find.
I had it right on the screen.
I have it. Here it is. Okay, so the artists that they listed were Powerman 5000. I'm going to also name the songs that they were associated with the game, right?
Yeah.
So Powerman 5000 had When Worlds Collide. That was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Hell yeah, it did.
Bad Religion had You. I think that was also Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Dead Kennedys had Police Truck, which that's the one I think they played in the trailer.
They played in the trailer, and what I also liked was Jeff Keighley was trying to I guess the gig was up, and he was playing it in the live stream.
Playing it he was. So yeah, they're gonna have that one. That was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. Of course, they're gonna have Superman by Goldfinger because that song is if that song I feel like is not in the game, then it's like, what you doing?
What you doing? You know? That and he played that song too, so he knew. He knew.
Yeah. So they will have Superman by Goldfinger. I don't know how to say the name, but is it Millencolin?
Yeah, Millencolin.
I think that's what it is, but it's the song No Cigar. That was on 2. Pin the Tail on the Donkey by Naughty by Nature. That was on 2. Blood Brothers by Papa Roach. That was on 2.
I forgot about
Jerry
that.
Was a Race Car Driver by Primus. That's an awesome song. That was on 1. May 16th by Lagwagon. I'm pretty sure that was on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And Guerrilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine, which was on 2.
Yes.
That was the intro song.
That's the game that very much was like that rap rock era where it was like rap and rock music were coalescing together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whereas I think before the soundtrack before that was a lot of skate punk, so
yes.
It was a lot of suicidal tendencies and stuff like that, and then you got a lot of punk like Dead Kennedys and whatever, and
yeah.
Then you had ska with Goldfinger. So it was a lot of that stuff in that that soundtrack.
100%.
So it sounds like they have the components, right, to create this really great remaster for these two games. And while we haven't played it, I will say that I am like pretty optimistic on what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
There's a quote here about how they approached the remaster, like how to get the feel right, like how that part is important. And this is from Jen O'Neill. This is from the interview that she did with Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Where she says, quote, approaching this, the number one thing for us was to get it to feel right. It's got to be a high quality game that feels like you remember it. So we started with the Neversoft engine, looking at the Neversoft code base for the handling, and brought that over. And we also looked at the level layouts and brought over the geometry as a starting point. And then you upgrade everything. From there, from the animations to the high res graphics to those quality of life improvements that modern gamers expect. So it's a complete package for the fans who are just aching for the nostalgia of these original games. I have a typo in that quote, which is why I started a little bit, and I need to fix it. Yeah. So again, like it just sounds like, and this is kind of a through line throughout that entire thing, even with like Tony Hawk was saying too, is that it needs to feel right, and I think that is definitely like something that they do need to focus on. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this? What were your thoughts after you like saw the information, all the features that are coming? What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I as someone who's grown up playing past the controller or two players, especially when it comes to like Tony Hawk, when it came with like I said, horse. I was very much a fan of horse. Like, can you do the trick that I did, or can I'll match my score to obviously graffiti, which was just slap a color on any of the things of the geometry, collect the most. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm curious about how hectic it's going to be with how many players, because they didn't confirm. Did they confirm how many people can play in a match?
They did not.
I want 100 skaters. Let's go.
I don't think I didn't mention also that there's local co-op.
Yeah,
well.
there is, and that's also like warmed my heart too, because that was something that I would do at home, And I'm not at the stage yet where I have kids where I can like pass some, like I have someone to co-op on couch. Don't have a lot of people going or coming in the house. Thank you, Corona. So but the fact that it's there for when the time does come for people to come on over, that's gonna be pretty special. Even though I'm probably gonna buy it on PC.
I might buy it on both PC and I might get it on Xbox.
I did notice they specifically did not say Series X or PS5. They only said PC, Xbox One, PS4.
They did, but also like
but no optimization.
But if you want to play 4K, you can't do that with any of the other systems other than a Pro or an X.
Yeah.
So you can do HDR, but you can't do.
Yes.
And then you also need the TV as well.
No, 100%.
So I think we're like past the point where we don't need, like, because I think we're getting into a stage where we're trying to look at next gen stuff. So like saying something's optimized for Xbox One X or PlayStation Pro, it's not going to really matter because the new ones are right there, like they're right around the corner. Supposedly, they're right around the corner.
Well, no, I know it's just the fact that every game that's been has been constantly talked about now, and especially obviously games for the past, is like this is the one time in the last couple of weeks where it wasn't mentioned that PS5's around the corner, we optimized this for PS5, or we did this for that. I mean, I'm sure you're going to feel those improvements anyways, and it's a moot point. I just noticed that they didn't specifically say that these were going to be on those consoles, even if it was simply just, this is just going to work. I know that it's going to work because Xbox has at least confirmed that, but PS5 still hasn't really. They said yes, but not really, not everything. So I don't know. Just so for people that are like, I'm going to buy this game, but then there's also maybe I want to be able to use it on the next thing. That was the only one thing I noticed. Mm-hmm. Everyone's also like, where's the Switch version? And I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I think playing this on the go would be awesome. Like that would be so cool. To have a full-fledged Tony Hawk experience on a portable device. I think that'd be really great.
And they'll probably do it because they did it for Crash Team Racing and all those games.
They did. And again, this isn't, I don't know if Crash or, oh no, they weren't, right? They weren't full $60 products, were they? I know Crash wasn't.
Crash
I don't remember if
wasn't.
Spyro was.
I don't think Spyro was either. I don't think any of them, actually, to be totally honest.
I don't know if CTR was either.
They're like $40.
Yeah, so I mean, this is also a $40 game. I also didn't mention. I mean, you mentioned it earlier too, but something that I'm also excited about is that they have all like the same goals from the previous ones, which is really great, and also new ones too. So at least then, you can. There's something new for you to try. Like there's new goals for you to try. You don't have to just do the original ones. Yeah. I wonder if with having manuals and stuff like that, if stuff like the high scores and the 6 scores will be changed.
Yeah.
I would assume so, because I believe in Warehouse the high score is like 10,000 or something like that, or even less maybe. And so like to get 10,000 points in one of those things using a manual, like with all those tools that you have,
adding revert, that simply changes the game.
Yeah. So like it would legitimately take one string of combos to even get that. It's not
impossible. 100% it's not impossible. Oh, there goes my internet. And hold on, give it a second.
But I feel like if otherwise, like the layout of like where the secret tapes are and stuff like that, if going and downhill jam and trying to get the secret tape is still going to be a pain in the ass, if it's still like that, I think that would be awesome. And I really do like that they'll have new and original goals for each level, it seems like. And then also going back into price, yes, this is going to be a $39. The base game is $39.99 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. There is a digital deluxe edition, which I said before comes with the Ripper character from Powell Peralta, which is an old 80s brand. I don't know if they still make stuff, but I don't know if anybody's like really sponsored by them or anything like that. It's mostly just like old Tony Hawk, Steve Caballero,
Peralta
decks and stuff like that.
Lords of Dogtown, right?
Yeah. Yes, he was one of the main dudes.
That's right.
In there,
the name stuck in my mind.
Stacy Peralta.
Peralta. That's right.
Yeah. There will also be retro 80s era outfits for Tony Hawk, Steve Caballero, and Rodney Mullen, which I think they did. I think they had a retro one like in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Like in the original one, you could play as like an 80s Tony Hawk. I'm almost positive.
That's awesome. Tony Hawk from Police Academy 4.
Yes. And then also unique retro content for your creative skater, including boards, clothes, shoes, and gear. This one costs $49.99. It's a $50 game. Yeah. And also available for all 3 platforms. The
collector's
collector's edition, which comes in at a solid $99.99.
That's right.
And I believe this is only for PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh no, he's dying again. Slowly dying. I hope my internet comes back.
Said before, the digital deluxe edition and the game, like all the content from there. It also comes with a skateboard deck, a limited edition birdhouse skateboard deck based on with the Falcon 2 art on there, with the Falcon 2 graphic.
There you go.
Which, if you see it, you'll know exactly what it is if you played the old games. It's one of Tony Hawk's signature decks. Again, this is going to be $99.99. There is a pre-order bonus. There are 2 pre-order bonuses technically. There's one that you'll just get. Doesn't matter if you get physical or digital, and then there's one if you get physical.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So if you get it just digitally, you will get access to the warehouse level. There will be a warehouse demo later on in the summer. You'll get early access to that demo, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Which makes me want to pre-order the goddamn game. I'm an idiot.
We'll never learn, man. We'll never learn.
I'll never learn. Because I want to play this freaking game. And then if you pre-order physically from GameStops in the US, EB Games in Canada, and select retailers in Latin America, Europe, and Australia, you get a Tony Hawk mini board,
All
mini
right.
fingerboard.
Great.
Because you need tech decks in your life.
That's right. If you're able to get into a physical GameStop these days, you'll be able to get one of those.
I mean, you could reserve online, I assume.
No,
right?
You have to put money down. Like, yeah, well, as far as I know, you can't reserve a game online.
That's wild. I wonder if it's also on Amazon.
Amazon's a little different because you could actually reserve it, but you don't actually have to.
You don't have to put money down.
Yeah.
And then also, well, I wonder if they'll have the physical one, because the thing, I'm getting this from the press thing.
Sure.
They had the blog post they had on Activision, and these are the retailers I said. So I wonder maybe if Amazon got on there now, but so far it seems like if you're in the US, this is a GameStop exclusive pre-order bonus. If you want a finger deck, want to live out your childhood.
That's right. That's right.
Jokes on them. I have an unopened finger deck over there. So jokes on them.
Who needs
it? It's a Hosoi board.
Hosoi.
So even cooler. It's a Hammerhead deck. It looks awesome. I'm not actually kidding. It's an unopened. There's an unopened deck over there. That wasn't a lie.
That's awesome.
Totally true.
I'll believe you. Technically, this happened on my end computer, so it should come in now.
He's there he is. He's back. Hey. Yeah,
it's funny because I'm still recording, and then you go away, and I'm just like, "Don't worry, he'll be back in a minute."
This is why we did audio backups.
Yeah, it's still good. It's just it is what it is. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all the Tony Hawk Pro Skater stuff.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Mario, on all of this stuff. I know we kind of basically gushed about it the entire time already, but do you have any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I want this to be good. I want this to be successful, and I want these games to come back. I really hope that, even though it is Tony Hawk 1 and 2 and the naming is silly, but to be honest, they needed to separate it from, obviously, I wish it was actually the Tony Hawk trilogy. That would have been really cool if it was 1, 2, and 3, but that's just me. To separate, obviously, from the HD remake that came out previously. So at the very least, I definitely want this to be a game series that comes back and just is good, and then has all of your memories and your friends and your online stuff. Like, I just want all those things to exist, and when they're gone for long periods of time, you feel it. And so having Tony Hawk involved, having it be Vicarious Visions that has helped other games lead the way, I'm excited. I'm also excited to see what Vicarious Visions also brings back, because apparently they're really good at bringing back classic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. Like, I'm really excited to see how Vicarious Visions does this, because they have a really good track record recently. Like, everything they've put out in terms of, and I think this is all they've put out really recently, is those remakes of Spyro and Crash stuff. So seeing their work on that and knowing that, it looks like they care about what they're working on, and with especially with properties that people love, and seeing them work on stuff like this, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, that gives me a little bit more confidence in this, more so than like Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD or Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, which again never existed. Never. It never happened.
Nope. Only one remake.
The last game, the last Tony Hawk game that came out was 2012. It was Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. It wasn't as great as it should have been. There's nothing after that. Then it was Skate, and that was the king. And Skate 4 should still happen. But
how do we get that in here? How do we allow that to be in this video? I'm just shaking my head until he comes back.
I think Mario's frozen. He was. No, you were frozen. You were frozen. Your head was frozen on the microphone. I'm like, I think he's frozen, man. No. I
heard the whole thing, so you're fine.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I'm just really excited for this. This is something that, like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater is such a near and dear thing to me. Like, this is one of my favorite games, and seeing like this announcement legitimately, like, I was like, this is like when, I don't think anybody knows about this, but you probably do maybe, because I don't think there's video of it, but I think it was 2 years ago when they had Starlink and Star Fox was in it.
Oh yeah.
And I heard the Star Fox gibberish from the old games, like the I'm like, oh my god, it's Star Fox! Like, and everybody in the room's like, how do you know that's Star Fox? I'm like, how do you not know that's Star Fox? I mean, and then the Star Fox came out, I freaked out because I'm a huge Star Fox fan. This was like kind of the same thing, and I'm just like super excited for it. I like freaked out when I saw this like was coming. Like seeing it in 4K 60 frames, it's great. Hearing them say that, you know, how they're going about remaking them and trying to be faithful and try to recreate how we think it feels.
Sure.
And also bringing in the moves that I think make the series beloved, like having the revert and the wall plant and lip tricks as well. All that stuff is important, and knowing that they are putting all that stuff into account and trying to make this good recreation of that is it puts me at ease. I'm still very much like cautiously optimistic because we legitimately haven't had a decent Tony Hawk game really since, I guess, Proving Grounds.
Sure.
I guess, right? Some people don't like Proving Grounds. That's fine.
I thought Proving Grounds. Ride. Do you remember Ride? Yeah, that sums it up.
I like whatever you think about Proving Grounds, right? Like there was still it was a fine experience. It was all right. It had its whatever, it had its problems, but I think it was still like the Tony Hawk we still kind of know, and I think that was like the end of it. And then after that, then we got into like Ride and Shred and then HD, and then the game that never happened, and then so, and then we got into all that stuff, and it just wasn't the same, you know. Really the last great one is probably maybe Wasteland, maybe American Wasteland, maybe Doug 2, I don't know. But who's to say? Maybe we do a ranking of the Tony Hawk games. Who knows?
The Assassin's Creed video that we did, a ravaging success of views. No, it wasn't. But I say we do that at least once a month. We were rank a game series, and I think Tony Hawk is the next one.
Tony Hawk would be a good one.
Yes.
Enough of us, I think, have played at least the core Tony Hawk. We're not going to put. We'll even keep the game that didn't exist. We'll keep that in there.
Sure.
I guess.
Just to put it lower on the list.
We have to have an Assassin's Creed Unity of all of it. We need the easy bottom. You know, we need an easy bottom. We just slot it right in.
That's right. There you go. That's perfect.
And then it's really about the fight at the top. But really, no one is really upset because all those ones at the top they're
top tier skateboards.
Yeah, top tier skateboards.
Let's end this.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this trash fire of a podcast thing that we've been doing now. This is weird. It's kind of like a podcast, I guess.
I know, right?
We do it every week at this point.
Might as well.
You can follow me on Twitter at the Michael Ruiz. You can follow Mario Rivera at that Mario Rivera on Twitter.
That's right.
Do you have any other socials? You got like a what is that called? An OnlyFans? You got.
I personally don't have an OnlyFans, but I do have a Twitch.
I personally don't have it. What does that mean?
I mean, I personally don't run my own to make money.
You don't run your own. You have somebody run yours.
That's called a pimp. Right. That's called a pimp. No. But I do
cameo.
Have. I don't have a cameo. I wish I did. I'm not that cool yet. I don't have a blue check mark either. Please give me that. No, but I have a twitch.tv/that Mario Rivera that I would like to promote. I am 9 away now. I think 9 or 8 away from hitting 50 people. I know that doesn't sound a lot or impressive, but if I hit at least 50 people and I get enough people watching, then I could potentially become an affiliate, which then allows me to make money maybe on Twitch. So please help me out. Follow me at twitch.tv/thatMarioRivera. Just Google that Mario Rivera. You'll find me everywhere.
What do you usually play on Twitch? You play
A lot of Call of Duty,
right?
A lot of Call of Duty, but now I've been going through full games. So I played Resident Evil 4 all the way through, and now me and my friend Frank we're actually co-streaming and we're playing Resident Evil 5. We did the first chapter of Resident Evil 5, so we're gonna move on to the rest.
Go back to Resident Evil 6.
Someone just posted in our Discord a picture of Resident Evil 6, so you might have to go back.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
no.
And I'll continuously do that and play more games. And Tony Hawk, I'll probably play Tony Hawk on this Twitch channel that you'll see. If you find me anywhat interesting or entertaining, by all means.
Yes.
Yes.
You could also, of course, follow DualShockers on Twitter at DualShockers. You should also, I'm just, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm not the boss of you. All right? You're the boss of your own life. But maybe you go to www.dualshockers.com. Check out some of the cool content we have over there, articles and stuff like that. I did this whole big thing of what do you need to know about Tony Hawk. I wrote about an Ion Fury, which is pretty good. We got a Super Mega Baseball 3 review. And some news. There's news there. A lot of news. So video games. Maybe we get a wrestling thing up there sometime soon.
Eventually, yes. It's long overdue for a wrestling recap.
Yeah, who's to say? Who's to say that there's not going to be any wrestling on there? So yeah, just go on the website and check out all that stuff. They're the one who kind of let us do this stupid thing, so we can say stupid shit on the internet.
No, for sure.
And also make sure to go on our YouTube, like where you're at, and like, follow, whatever, hit the bell. I don't know. I don't do YouTube.
Oh my god, you're fucking terrible at this. You speed it up.
You subscribe?
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please hit the bell to get notified whenever we release a video. Underneath, there's a bunch of comments. Make one. I won't read it.
You know what? Don't hit the bell, because I hate when it notifies me all the goddamn time. You don't have to hit the bell. That's fine. Just go at your own pace. Just like and subscribe it. All right? Don't hit the bell.
Dude.
You don't need the bell. Have you ever been so... every time there's like a guy. I started hitting the bell because I'm like, oh, this probably helps people. Blah, blah. I get freaking all the freaking time, and I'm like, I just need to relax. I need to put my phone away.
It's like, why
I don't like that.
Why is Mario uploading all of his Twitch videos to YouTube? Just like 1,000 of them.
Why are these videos just going? It just keeps on going, and then I get this Discord things and YouTube. There's a group me thing for my other job. It's just too much.
All right, Larry David, let's go.
It's just too much.
Wrap it up.
Thanks for listening Thanks for watching. Check us out later. Bye.
Jesus, man. I'm not editing a damn thing. That's all perfect.